Yeah, I wonder, is there such a thing as taking your supplements the wrong way? And if you felt lonely, would you consider having a companion robot? And what about bark days? No, nothing to do with trees. Hello everybody and welcome to This Upbeat Life, the show where we take a light-hearted look at life and go on a journey to find out how people stay physically and mentally happy. I'm Simon JJ Green and I'll be interviewing ordinary, bog-standard people as well as looking at the latest in wellness, health science, nature and the quirkier side of the health and wellbeing industry. Now, let's get cracking with today's episode. G'day all you lovely people. I hope you're all in fine fettle and welcome to episode 22 of This Upbeat Life. Actually, what is a fettle? Okay, I've just looked it up and apparently it's Old English for a belt or a girdle. By the 18th century, fettle became a recognised noun for a state or condition and hence the saying that we've got today. But that has got absolutely nothing with today's awesome show. No, today we are going to be looking at supplements. We're going to be looking at the rise of social robots, and the best for last, we're going to be looking at birthdays for dogs. And on quick news, are we taking supplements the right way? It turns out that popping a cocktail of supplements every day might be doing you and me more harm than good, according to a recent article by the health and wellbeing reporter Ruth Clegg for the BBC. Now, I did not take any supplements until I was about 55 years old because I grew up thinking that you only took supplements if you were ailing or weak. Now, my age of 55 just happened to coincide with the explosion of the internet and the rise of the influencer. And like many people, I fell for the hype. Worse still, the hype was peddled by no one who was a doctor or a nutritionist. These are the people, the influencers, who said that after the age of 50, it's all downhill. Now, I'm going to spill the beans and tell you that I believed them. So I started taking a bucket full of supplement pills and powders, and up until recently, I still did. But I don't take them every day because of a couple of factors. Number one, I forget. And number two, it's expensive. So when I do remember, I tend to take them every other day. Realistically, you can be spending £30 or more a month on this stuff. Imagine the number of donuts I could buy with that. But the honest truth, I have no idea if they were doing me or are doing me any good or not. If I stop taking them for 4 weeks, I feel no difference. If I keep taking them intermittently or even every day, the only thing I get is bloating and sometimes some big acne spots on my skin. I don't feel better or particularly worse. And here's the thing, I may be taking them all wrong. You see, you wake up, drink a glass of water and swallow a fistful of capsules in the belief that today you will become a shinier, calmer, stronger version of yourself, perhaps with better hair. No, I wish, because I haven't got any, but definitely with improved gut flora and maybe some sort of aura. There is vitamin D for sunshine, magnesium for sleep, zinc for immunity, omega-3 for the brain, probiotics for the gut, collagen for the face, too late for me, ashwagandha for stress, turmeric for joints, and something called super greens, which my partner takes, and it looks and tastes suspiciously like powdered lawn clippings with a marketing budget. And then we have NMN, nicotinamide mononucleotide, the magic pill for energy and brain function, allegedly. But there is a question worth asking. If we're taking several different supplements every day, are we becoming healthier? Or are they doing us more harm because we have been taking them incorrectly? Now, I guess the answer is that supplements can be useful when there is a clear reason for taking them. If you have a genuine vitamin deficiency, for example, or a medical condition that affects how your body absorbs nutrients, a supplement can be exactly what you need. The trouble begins when supplements become a kind of nutritional panic buying. You have a little tickle in the back of your throat, so you take a multivitamin, just in case. Then you add vitamin D because it's the sunshine vitamin, and everyone says you should. Then zinc because it's winter. Then magnesium because somebody on a podcast said it changed their life. And before long, you are taking so many tablets that breakfast starts to look like a drug dealer's buffet. And this is where things can go slightly wrong. A lot of these supplements contain the same ingredients. Your multivitamin may already have vitamin C and D. zinc, magnesium, selenium, and vitamin B6 in it. Then your immune support tablets contain more zinc and vitamin D. Your sleep powder has more magnesium. Your energy drink is fortified with C and B vitamins. Your protein shake contains added vitamins because why not? And individually, none of these things may look alarming. Together, however, they can add up. Now, I am by no means any sort of authority on supplements, but my partner is a nutritionist and I have done some research into this sometimes confusing subject. Now, some vitamins are stored by the body rather than simply flushed away or being absorbed straight away. Vitamins A, D, E and K are the main ones. Take too much over time and they can build up, which is less wellness journey and more unexpected conversation with your liver. Too much vitamin D can raise your calcium levels and cause kidney problems. Too much vitamin A can be harmful, particularly during pregnancy. High doses of vitamin B6 taken for a long time can cause nerve damage. And too much zinc can interfere with copper levels and lead to problems such as anemia. And then we've got iron, another classic example. People often take it because they feel tired, which is understandable. But tiredness has about 400 possible causes, including not going to bed until 1 a.m. while watching videos of OPDs, that's other people's dogs, which is a valid reason to stay up, but nonetheless not ideal. See, iron is helpful if you are genuinely iron deficient, but if you're not, it can cause stomach problems and in some cases more serious issues. And this is the bit where I think I had arrived at on my taking too many supplements journey, the interactions. Supplements don't always politely mind their own business. Some can affect how medicines work. St. John's wort, for example, is a herbal remedy people often take for a mild, low mood, but it can interfere with a surprisingly long list of medications, which include some contraceptives, blood thinners, and treatments used after organ transplants, which is quite a lot of responsibility for something that sounds like a folk singer from the 1970s. Other supplements can affect blood pressure, blood sugar, sleep, mood, bleeding, or heart rate. And when you add prescription medication into the mix, your daily health routine can suddenly become a chemistry experiment conducted by someone who has misplaced the instruction manual. Now, my partner swears by herbal products and remedies, but these can be quite unpredictable. The word natural obviously sounds reassuring, but so are poisonous mushrooms and wasps natural. Natural does not necessarily mean harmless. Some herbal and bodybuilding supplements have been linked with liver problems, while energy and pre-workout products can contain enough stimulants to make your heart behave as though it's just remembered a cringy thing you said on a date in 2005. Now, there is also the issue of ingredients. No, unfortunately, supplements are not checked in the same way as prescription medicines. Most are perfectly legitimate, but some products, particularly those sold for rapid weight loss, muscle building, sexual performance, or dramatic energy boosts, all my favourites, have been found to contain undeclared ingredients. In other words, you may think you're taking extreme herbal metabolism formula, but your body may be receiving something way more adventurous. And maybe the biggest danger is psychological. Taking supplements can make us feel as though we have dealt with health. We have swallowed the capsule, therefore we are now invincible. We can have that beige dinner, we can skip the walk, sleep badly, sit down for 11 hours and still feel smug because we took a probiotic shaped like a tiny bear. But guess what? Unfortunately, the boring basics are still what it's all about. Eating reasonably well, moving about, sleeping properly, not smoking, drinking sensibly, and keeping an eye on things like blood pressure and cholesterol. These do far more for our long-term health than any expensive bottle of capsules. But that does not mean that we need to throw all our supplements in the bin, move to an ashram and start living entirely on lentils and regret. It simply means being a bit more selective and doing our homework. Now, if you take several supplements, maybe you should write them all down, just like I have. Every tablet, gummy, powder, drink, and herbal tea, and then check whether you are doubling up on some of the same vitamins and minerals. If you take regular medication, have kidney or liver problems, or are pregnant, or are due to have surgery, maybe it's worth asking a pharmacist, GP, or dietitian to look through the list. And remember, ChatGPT is none of those. Now, the ideal supplement routine is taking something because you need it, not because the label has a picture of a mountain, a leaf, or a person in yoga trousers looking suspiciously pleased with themselves. Now, personally, I have now ditched all my supplements and I am rebuilding my health through a consistent diet and more exercise, because the way I see it, a proper diet and active lifestyle should replace the need for most, if not all, supplements. The Mediterranean diet I'm on seems to help the most. Lots more fruit and veg, fish, olives, and lowering carbs like bread, and limiting myself to 1 glass of wine every couple of days, unless the World Cup is on, or the boxing. But after 6 weeks of this, now I have way more energy. My skin is feeling better. I suffer from mild psoriasis, and the bloating has all but disappeared. And finally, on this segment, I have been told by my partner to say on this publicly recorded format that donuts do not count as supplements, and that I had to say this on the recording. Phooey. And on The Real Deal, could your new best friend be a robot? You see, back in 1984, robots in the movies were terrifying. They were going to take over the world, overthrow humanity, and probably vaporize us with lasers before tea time. The films promised we'd all be hiding behind overturned cars while an army of chrome-plated machines stomped through the streets, crushing skulls and looking very cross. Fast forward to 2026, and the reality is just a little bit different. Instead of threatening mankind, the latest generation of robots is asking things like, have you had enough water today? Would you like to phone your daughter? Or, fancy a game of bingo? Now, it's fair to say that the robot uprising has taken a slightly unexpected turn. Scientists around the world are developing what's called social robots. These aren't designed to build cars or patrol warehouses. No, their job is much simpler. They're designed to be companions. Now, I know what you're thinking. Companion? You mean like R2-D2? Yes, sort of, except they can talk. These robots are unlikely to rescue you from an exploding Death Star, for example, and more likely to remind you that you've left your phone in the fridge, again, which I literally did last week. The idea might sound a little strange, but there is a serious reason behind it. Loneliness. It's something that affects millions of people, particularly older adults who may live alone or have fewer opportunities to socialize. But children can experience loneliness too, especially if they're isolated through illness, disability, or simply struggling to make friends. So researchers have started asking a fascinating question. Could a robot actually help? Well, one story that caught my eye comes from Germany. An elderly lady called Waltraud, spelt Waltraud, Waltraud spends time chatting with a social robot called Emma. Emma can recognize faces, remember previous conversations, and hold simple chats. She doesn't replace Waltraud's family or friends, but she gives her someone, or perhaps I should say something, to interact with during the day. It's a remarkable image, really, not because Emma is pretending to be human, but because she isn't. Everyone knows she's a machine, yet that doesn't stop the conversations feeling meaningful. And it turns out that Waltraud isn't alone. Studies from around the world suggest many older people genuinely enjoy interacting with social robots. Some even begin describing them as friends, sort of a one-up from an Alexa, though probably around £20,000 rather than 50 quid. One participant said the robot felt rather like having a granddaughter around. Mind you, I too would like a granddaughter who never raised the biscuit tin, always listens politely, and doesn't hold the cat upside down by the tail. Researchers have even found that these robots can help reduce feelings of loneliness, particularly in care homes where residents may spend long periods on their own. But more importantly, the robots aren't replacing human relationships just yet. No, they're filling the quiet gaps between them, sort of more like a friendly neighbour who's always got time for a chat and doesn't interrupt you halfway through your story with, have I told you about my double hip replacement? But it appears it's not all motherboards and HDMI ports. No. Some people become frustrated when the conversations become repetitive. Apparently, even artificial intelligence occasionally runs out of things to say, which, if you've ever been trapped next to someone at a wedding who only talks about their goldfish, is pleasingly human. That really interesting part, though, I think comes when we look at children. Social robots are increasingly appearing in schools, hospitals and homes, cleverly disguised as teddy bears. I had visions of the series Raised by Wolves with android foster robots called Mother and Father. It's a good program, actually. Online shops now boast a large range of robots aimed at kids. There is one called Luna on Amazon, Loona, and is described as a companion robot, voice-activated and AI-enabled. All yours for 350 quid. The reviews are mixed, though. Here's one. Very impressed with Luna. It's certainly won over the family. It can be pretty chaotic as it runs around and plays, which really adds to its cuteness and fun. Everyone has commented on how surprisingly alive it seems. And then there's this review. Don't waste your money. It's hit and miss with commands and not great at interaction. Returned it after a week with disappointing results. Overhyped product. So we no longer have the likes of the Tamagotchis, the digital pets from the mid-90s that traumatized a generation of children by dying if they forgot to digitally feed it. And now we've got interactive robot dogs, cats and humanoid-looking robots, and these are all the rage, all designed to do one thing: rise up, take over the world and enslave the human race. No. That will probably become later. Watch this space, though. No. They're designed to interact with kids and entertain them because parents are too busy scrolling through their phone and posting to Instagram or recording podcasts. But as cynical as I may be, some of these bots help children learn to read, some tell stories, and some encourage shy children to talk. Others are being used to support autistic children by providing calm, predictable interactions. And researchers found that after spending months with these little robots, some children became genuinely attached to them. Families often kept them long after the research projects had ended and the robots had become sort of part of the family. Imagine explaining that to your neighbours. Yeah, we've got a new addition. Oh, congratulations. Boy or girl? Neither. More lithium-ion battery. Oh, can we see him? He's having a Wi-Fi firmware update. But if children spend lots of time with robots, could they become too attached? Could a robot ever replace real friendships? At the moment, most experts think that that's the direction we're heading. In fact, many researchers are quite clear. Robots work best alongside people, not instead of them. They're just another tool, a conversation starter, maybe a little bit of a company on a quiet afternoon. And these traits can be applied to older adults. A robot can encourage someone to phone the family. It can suggest a walk, play music, or remind someone to take their medication. It can even ask them how they're feeling. But what it can't do is replace the warmth of another human being. Perhaps the role of the social robot is not replacing people, but maybe helping people stay connected. Helping someone smile on an otherwise lonely Tuesday afternoon as they look out of the window of their care home. Maybe helping a child find confidence reading aloud, or helping an older person feel that someone is interested in how their day has been. Because sometimes companionship doesn't have to be perfect. Sometimes it's just got to be there. Who knows? With the advance of robots by Boston Dynamics and the Chinese companies, especially Ubtech Robotics, famous for models like the U1 series, an ultra-biomimetic AI-powered humanoid companion robot featuring digital skin, expressive facial movements and emotional large language models designed specifically for home companionship. And then we also have Unitree Robotics. In fact, Chinese firms are so advanced that I think in less than 20 years, we're all going to have one of these robots. Yes, you can imagine introducing yours at a dinner party. This is Mary. Oh, your wife? No, my robot. There's an uncomfortable silence. And what does she do? Oh, no. She reminds me where I left my glasses, tells me to drink more water and always agrees that I'm right. And that's it for the real deal. And if your toaster starts asking how your day's been, the robot uprising has started. And on far out stuff, a friend of mine called me up the other day and said that he'd just come back from one of the best birthday parties he'd ever been to. It was for a young lass called Molly, who had just turned 6, and there were about 20 guests. There were balloons, there was cake, music, lots of food, and it turns out that Molly is a golden retriever and has an enormous online following. I thought to myself, well, I have 2 lovely dogs myself. Echo and Coda are sisters who are German Shepherd, Aussie Shepherd crosses. We have never really had a party for them, just a quiet celebration when it's their birthday, which by a twist of fate is the same day as mine in September. So we normally just share a steak and they have doggy ice cream. So I thought I'd look into it. Well, dip me in mustard and call me a hot dog. Birthday parties for the goodest of dogs is all the rage. Once I started looking, I discovered that dog birthday parties are far from being an oddity. They seem to be part of a growing global trend driven by people increasingly treating pets as members of the family. Well, that's just silly. Of course they're members of the family. What else can it be? Pets. Now, here in the UK, Britain has enthusiastically embraced gotcha days and dog birthdays. Now, a gotcha day is the anniversary of the date a good boy or a good girl was adopted or rescued, mainly because the exact birth date of the shelter or stray dog is often unknown. So pet owners use this date as a special holiday to celebrate their arrival into the family. Now, a recent Country Life article notes that nearly 2/3 of British dog owners celebrate their dog's birthday in some way or another. More than half have hosted some sort of birthday gathering, although many simply buy a special toy, treat or marrow bone rather than throwing a full-scale canine rave. Though I think this should be a thing. Dog raves. We should start a petition. We only need 10,000 signatures and it goes to Parliament. And there are now many businesses offering dog birthday cakes, personalised party hats, bark day balloons, dog birthday boxes, birthday photo shoots, and dog cafes that host parties. See, the UK is a nation of dog lovers, there is no doubt. But other countries around the world have gotten into it too. Just look at the sheer number of movies where the protagonist's best friend, his or her dog, gets killed, sad, and then they go all John Wick on people. Now, over in India, street dogs are generally treated very well. Apart from Delhi, where they are seen as a bit of a problem. India's pet industry has exploded in recent years. The growing middle class increasingly refers to themselves as pet parents, spending money on premium food, grooming, clothing, birthday cakes and parties. That's for the dogs. Now, the Times of India recently described this as a booming prosper economy. Prosper, I guess they mean prosper. But India does take it one step further. Yes, there is an actual festival dedicated to celebrating dogs, which is observed in parts of India, primarily rooted in the famous Nepalese festival, Kukur Tihar. I don't know if I said that right, but that's what it sounds like. This is an annual national holiday and a widespread tradition in Nepal. It's also celebrated by communities in Indian regions with large Gorkha or Nepali populations, such as Sikkim, Darjeeling and Kalimpong, as well as by animal lovers across other parts of India. Now, this festival, Kukur Tihar, usually falls in October or November each year, coinciding with Diwali, the Hindu festival of lights. It marks the second day of a 5-day festival cycle. You see, in Hindu belief, dogs are viewed as the loyal messengers and guardians of Yama, the dog of death. Honouring them is said to help appease the god of death and clear the path to the afterlife. People place bright yellow marigold garlands called mala around the necks of our four-legged friends to show respect and dignity. They also put a red tika mark on the dog's forehead as a blessing, and both pet and stray dogs are treated to special foods like meat, milk, eggs and premium treats, as well they should. One particularly charming story came from Madhya Pradesh. A group of young men threw a lavish birthday party for a stray street dog called Ludo Bahai. It included an open Jeep parade, flower garlands, a birthday cake, fireworks and a giant roadside congratulatory billboard. Now, the organisers said they wanted to encourage kindness towards stray dogs. The video went viral worldwide, and I'll put a link to the video in the show notes. Now, over in the United States, I think it's safe to say that they have probably taken pet birthdays further than anywhere else. Yeehaw! It's common to find dog bakeries making birthday cakes, bark day packages at doggy daycare centres, dog birthday events at pet cafes, professional photographers specialising in pet birthday portraits, and pet hotels hosting birthday parties. This has become part of the enormous American pet industry, which is worth well over $100 billion annually. This is about half of the army budget, not to be confused with the total US military budget, which stands at a mind-boggling $1 trillion a year. That's a few canine birthday parties right there. Now, over in Australia, they have also embraced the idea. Many dog cafes and dog parks advertise birthday packages, complete with pup cakes, party bags, and dog-safe ice cream. While over in Japan, their pet culture has long treated dogs as family members, where they have luxury pet boutiques, and I do mean luxury, that sell things like birthday kimonos. Now, of course they do. Konnichiwa. Celebration cakes, personalised biscuits, and pet hotels that organise birthday events. And now that it is illegal to eat your dog, South Korea has become one of the world's fastest growing pet markets, where birthday celebrations for dogs are becoming increasingly common. Many pet cafes host birthday events, while specialist bakeries produce elaborate dog-friendly cakes. But there is a bit of a debate. Not everyone is convinced, you see. Some animal welfare experts point out that dogs don't understand birthdays. They're obviously killjoys. Noisy parties may stress some animals. Maybe. And candles, balloons, and rich human food can be unsafe. That is true. The consensus among behaviourists is fairly simple. Dogs love spending time with their owners. They probably don't care whether it's because they're turning 3 or because it's a Tuesday. Actually, I don't think this story is really about dogs at all. It's about us. And you see, a century ago, many dogs slept outside in kennels and had names like Rex or Spot. Today, they're wearing birthday hats, eating peanut butter birthday cakes, opening presents, and having professional photographers capture the moment for Instagram. It's another example of how pets have quietly moved from being household animals to full-blown family members. And sometimes, if social media is to be believed, with a better social calendar than their owners. Yes, that is true, actually. My dogs have a better social calendar than I do. Well, anyway, guys, that's it for today. Do you take a cocktail of supplements, or perhaps you have a robot companion? And I don't mean your wife or your husband. What about celebrating your dog's birthday? If you don't, you should. Drop me a line on my SpeakPipe message centre, link in the show notes, or email me at simonjjgreen@gmail.com and tell me all about it. And I'll read out some on the next show. Until then, toodle pip. And that's it for today. Thanks for listening, everybody. As always, I'd appreciate it if you could like, follow, and subscribe to my show, This Upbeat Life, so I know I'm on the right track. And even better, leave a review and share it with your friends. Until next time, remember, happiness is the best medicine. Cheerio.